It was an album that was doomed before it even released. Following reports of bullying within the group, issues with the group's management at the time, and the reception to their lead single, Get Sexy, and the replacement of the only remaining original member of the group, the Sugababes faced an uphill battle trying to put together their 7th studio album.
It got to a point where it wasn't working.
What are relations in the band, the three of you?
We hate each other. Damn bitches got my nerves.
However, what transpired was a confusing rollout, questions from fans on the group's future, and the cancellation of the then current lineup's 8th studio album. In this video, we'll dive into what could have been a reinvention for the group and what went wrong with Sweet 7. If you enjoy hearing stories about eras gone by, hit the subscribe button to be notified when I next upload. Now, back to the video.
You don't know about a girl, I'll take over the world.
The Sugababes, one of the most influential UK girl groups of the early 2000s, had a unique trajectory that saw them evolving their sound while frequently undergoing lineup changes. Their music consistently reflected shifts in UK pop and urban sounds, and they were often at the forefront of trends in pop on the UK charts. The group were also distinct in their diversity, both in terms of their image and sound, and this was a key factor in their appeal and longevity as a group. The original lineup had an ethnic diversity that was rare for a girl group at the time and helped them stand out on the UK pop scene. Unlike other pop girl groups who often adhered to more stereotypically glamorous or uniform looks, the Sugababes embraced an edgier, more individualistic style. They didn't conform to the overtly manufactured, hyper-glossy pop group image, and each member had a distinct fashion style that ranged from urban streetwear to more feminine chic looks. This made them relatable to a broader audience who didn't feel represented by more polished pop groups. The group often addressed real-life issues like self-acceptance and body image, especially in songs like Ugly. They presented a relatable, down-to-earth image that focused on authenticity over the polished perfection often expected in the music industry. Their message of empowerment resonated with young people who identified with the struggles of finding self-confidence. As mentioned, the diversity of the group extended to their musical style. With each member coming from a different background, they were each able to bring something musically unique to the band. As a result, over the course of their career, they navigated a variety of genres and sounds, which allowed them to appeal to different audiences. They combined elements of pop, R&B, electro, garage, rock and soul, creating a rich and varied sound that evolved over time. Albums like One Touch leaned towards alternative R&B and trip-hop, while Angels with Dirty Faces embraced pop and indie influences, and Catfights and Spotlights drew on retro soul and Motown. This genre diversity made them appealing to fans of multiple musical styles. At a time when UK pop music often followed formulas, Sugababes experimented with more alternative sounds, particularly early in their career. The success of singles like the Adina Howard cover Freak Like Me and Overload showed that they could blend mainstream pop appeal with alternative underground influences. Each member had a distinctive voice, and their ability to blend harmonies gave their music a unique texture. Keisha's strong R&B inflected voice, Mutia's soulful, deep tone, and Heidi's lighter pop-centric vocals created a dynamic vocal blend that allowed them to seamlessly move between musical styles. Sugababes' success and diversity in both image and sound paved the way for several UK pop groups that followed, particularly those who showcased multiculturalism and genre fluidity. Little Mix, formed in 2011, is one of the clearest examples of a group that took the torch from Sugababes in terms of diversity, both in their multicultural representation and their music style. Stussy and M.O., two more British bands, took direct influence from the Sugababes' early genre mixing sound. Both groups were known for their brash, cheeky style, and their music incorporated a mix of pop, R&B, and Motown influences, with lineups that featured multicultural members, mirroring the Sugababes' ethos of diversity and individuality. Catfights and Spotlights, released in 2008, marked a commercial downturn for the group, despite critical praise for its retro soul and Motown-inspired sound. The album debuted at number 8 on the UK Albums chart, a noticeable drop compared to their previous albums, and it quickly fell down the charts. By the late 2000s, the music scene had shifted towards more electropop and dance pop, while Catfights and Spotlights leaned into a more mature, retro soul sound that didn't align with mainstream trends. At this point, the group had undergone multiple lineup changes, and there was growing public and media fatigue around the instability within the band, which may have affected their fan base's enthusiasm. This album would signal a turning point in the Sugababes chart dominance. Before the group began work on their 7th studio album, they signed a US record deal with Rock Nation. The majority of the album was recorded in Los Angeles and New York, with a few sessions taking place in London. The group mainly collaborated with producers Red One, Ryan Tedder, Stargate, Fernando Garibay, and the Smeezingtons. Additional writers were also brought in to support the project, including Neo, Bruno Mars, and Claude Kelly. This list of producers and writers would cause many fans and critics to ask questions over the direction of the new album, with Keisha reassuring everybody that the album would still have a British feel to it.
Yes, your new single Get Sexy, which we at that Breakfast love, is burning up dance floors, TV and radio at the moment. However, some Sugababe loyalists are saying that you've gone too commercial, as some of the murmurs we've been hearing on the site. What's your response to this?
I hate it when people say too commercial,
Yeah.
because you're just getting on with what you do, and you want it to be a success, and the more people who enjoy it, the better.
You can't please everyone
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
On the last album when we didn't do commercial,
We went to be more commercial.
yeah. So
what
I
you
think,
want.
the most important thing is for you to move with the times, for you to stay relevant. The music industry changes so much. Like a couple of years ago, it was saturated with like loads of indie bands, and it's all about the survival of the fittest, to be honest. And you can't please everyone, but you have to. It's all about winning new fans on board, and I think that we've done that with this new
Definitely.
single.
And top it off as well, we absolutely love it ourselves,
Yeah.
so that's the main thing.
Okay, we've all seen the Get Sexy video. So you girls are dancing a lot more now.
Yeah.
Can we expect a bit more winding and grinding from you ladies?
Hell yeah!
We really enjoyed it.
We did, and we've been working with like Beyonce, Destiny's Child's choreographer, like he's hardcore and he's amazing. So we've been doing a lot of rehearsals and working really hard, and that's why we feel like everything in our performance, everything musically, live stuff,
But we've enjoyed it.
stepped up. Yeah, we loved it. Yeah.
We actually come up in a sweat. now
Exactly.
and come off stage.
We made a conscious decision. We were like, you know what? Because we were always just like, okay, we sing live, we're with our band, and that's it. But then, it's all about showmanship as well, and being able to do other things. So we kind of was like, yeah, let's just push ourselves a little bit. And it was so funny because the choreographer, like proper American guy, was just like, girls, I didn't know y'all could move like that. So adding all these things in, and he's like all feeling himself doing that. It was all him. It was hilarious.
You're one of the few groups in which there's no designated lead singer. And all of you are vocally competent, you're all vocally amazing, I would say. Saying that, was it a conscious decision to have the lovely Miss Berber take the forefront on Get Sexy?
No, it was Bruno.
Every song gets who suits.
Yeah, like there's a few songs of your vocals and the like No More You, but the one that Nia wrote for us.
That's more predominantly.
It's just been different ones for each of us as
with
well.
the Smeezingtons, Bruno, they're the ones that produced the first single, and it's so funny because Get Sexy was kind of like, it was supposed to be more of a rap. When I'm walking in the club and then it's sexy, it was me going, I'm sorry, I really can't do the whole rapping thing. So we kind of put the melody to it and tried to make it about that. But again, it's all about a swag and a certain, and it was kind of more a Mel's sort of thing.
That suits it more.
Yeah.
We're not precious over things like that. If it's, whatever.
I wouldn't be like, no, I want to try the rap, okay? I'm going to... If I had a dime.
It's just all about personalities and who suits it. And I think that's the thing. It has to be real,
It's so sexy.
Congratulations, Mel, on your number one Princess Rider.
Thank you, man.
Are there any solo projects or outside Sugarbabe projects that we can expect from you ladies anytime soon?
No, I mean, we're really open to kind of doing different things with other people. And we've all kind of, at one point, either written with other artists or for other artists or done things. And,
just if the right thing comes
Yeah.
along.
Definitely, it needs to make sense.
Yeah.
but our priority is obviously Sugababes, so.
In August 2009, the lead single from their 7th studio album was released. Get Sexy is an up-tempo electropop track with elements of dance, techno and R&B. It famously features an interpolation of Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy. The critical response was mixed. Some praised its catchiness and energy, while some highlighted its dance floor appeal and strong chorus, though noting it wasn't as iconic as previous Sugababes hits. More negative reviews criticised its lack of cohesion and originality. Overall, while the song was energetic and fun, it was seen as lacking in innovation. The music video features a sleek, high-energy visual that complements the song's bold sound. The video is characterised by contrasting lighting, quick cuts, and a futuristic aesthetic, reflecting the song's dance, techno, and R&B influences. The girls are dressed in a mix of bold, sexy outfits with metallic and black tones, emphasising a more mature, edgier image. The styling features heavy use of leather, contributing to the video's glam, high-fashion vibe. There's minimal group choreography, with the focus instead on solo performances and attitude-driven movements. The sensual and assertive body language of the members complements the song's confident, bold theme. The video uses striking visual effects, including slow-motion shots, flashing lights, and quick scene changes to create an intense, club-like atmosphere. These effects contribute to the energetic and high-octane feel of the video. The video marked a departure from the more understated visuals of earlier Sugababes work, embracing a more provocative and daring image that reflected the group's evolving sound and image during the Sweet 7 era. The single had a solid commercial performance, particularly in the UK. The song entered the UK singles chart at number 2. It stayed in the top 10 for a few weeks, but quickly dropped off the charts, reflecting a strong start but a short chart run. Internationally, the song had moderate success. It reached the top 10 in Ireland, peaking at number 3, and charted in several other European countries, including Belgium and Germany, though it did not perform as strongly outside the UK. While the song's initial success was strong, it was overshadowed by the dramatic lineup change shortly after its release. Rumours of tension between the band members reached fever pitch, resulting in Amel failing to show up for a live performance and sparking rumours that she was leaving the band. Then in September 2009, it was announced that Keisha, the last original member of Sugababes, had left the group and would be replaced by Jade Ewan. Keisha later revealed on Twitter that her departure was not her decision, leading some journalists to describe it as her being sacked. According to Amel and Heidi, both women had contemplated leaving the Sugababes themselves, but the group's management decided to replace Keisha with Jade rather than recruit 2 new members. In 2020, Keisha stated that she was unaware she had been ousted from the group until after the public announcement of her departure was made. Jade was subsequently introduced as the new member.
I've heard all kinds of rumours about, the lineup change, but I want to hear it straight from your mouths. What happened?
Me and Amel left the band last year when we were in America.
You probably left the Sugababes.
We left
We
the
both left
Sugababes, yeah.
yeah.
And then we weren't due to, because we were supposed to be shooting our video the next day,
Right.
which obviously didn't happen.
No.
And we were due to fly home for like a few more days. And then our record company contacted us and said, would you carry on with somebody else? And obviously we were like, we'd love to carry on, our job and everything else. But it was a big decision. We were like, it depends on who the person is, if we click and if they want to join and stuff like that. So it was a whole mad time.
Basically, they were like, we've got this girl and she's a great singer and everything. They told us her name and we happened to have seen her on Eurovision in Germany. I always remember it was Germany, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like watching her. We're like, oh, she seems lovely. She had a great voice. So, and then we met each other on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, sure.
It was a sunny day.
Where did you meet?
In a hotel room.
In a hotel? Nice.
Yeah, had
Quaint.
pancakes, fruit, it was nice and chilled. And then literally felt really natural, really happy. And then we went straight to rehearsals together and shot the video the next day.
Just like that?
Yeah.
So what happened then? Keisha left the band because you weren't getting on with her. Is that right? Or
It was just like a very difficult time. Like we still really respect her. We don't want to wish her any, harm. Like we love her to bits still, and we've had really good times together and everything. But it just got to the point where we couldn't do any more. Like we just tried so hard, and it just me and Heidi weren't happy basically. And at the end of it, when we got to LA, we just we got to a point. We know that everyone's got a line. Like when you cross that line, you can't do it anymore. So we basically left the band. And
you two left the Sugababes.
Yeah. So we thought
that was never publicised. So that was just between management before it hit the.
Yeah, we just
we got there and it just got to a point where we couldn't take anymore. We were like, we can't do this anymore. And then over the course of a crazy week, we were approached to carry on together, and then introduced to Jade, and then shot the video 2 days later.
Yeah.
So hold on, you were brought in and then you went straight in to shoot a video without any real run up.
2 days after we met.
None of us could make a decision until we met. So I met the girls on the Sunday, but when I was out there, until we met, I was like, well, maybe I'll go back. Maybe we'll decide actually we won't do it. So we decided on the Sunday, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then we had a day of rehearsals and then the video on the Tuesday.
So how are you getting on with Jade? Do you like her?
Really well.
What a goddess.
They have to say that. They're on camera. No joke.
After Keisha left, interviews with the remaining members often revealed a palpable awkwardness when the topic of her departure was brought up. Keisha's exit was unexpected and controversial, particularly since she was the last original member of the group. The fact that she claimed her departure was not her decision created an uncomfortable atmosphere for the other members, as they were often put in the position of discussing a sensitive issue that involved their former bandmate. Amel and Heidi had their own complicated feelings about Keisha's departure. While they had considered leaving the group as well, they ended up staying and continuing with Jade. This conflict likely made them hesitant to openly discuss Keisha's exit, fearing backlash or appearing disloyal. With Keisha's departure, the dynamics within the group shifted significantly. Amel stepped into the role of spokesperson during interviews, which may have been a natural progression given her strong personality and vocal presence, but rubbed many fans of the previous lineup the wrong way. This shift also highlighted the challenges the group faced in communicating their new identity and navigating the legacy of their former member. As the group sought to maintain their brand and continue promoting their music, they needed to present a united front. With one member acting as the spokesperson, it allowed the group to project a sense of cohesion, even amidst the changes and uncertainty. However, this often led to rehearsed responses that felt awkward or strained, especially when addressing the topic of Keisha. Prior to her time with Sugababes, Jade represented the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest, performing the song It's My Time. Jade released a couple of singles, including My Man, which showcased her pop and R&B influences. Her early solo work helped her develop her vocal style and performance skills, however failed to launch a solo career. Based on some comments made, Jade was approached to join Sugababes in September 2009, shortly before the public announcement of Keisha's departure. The exact timeline was quick, as Keisha's exit was also confirmed that same month, and Jade was officially introduced as the new member of the group around the same time. Jade was in the midst of working on her solo career after her Eurovision appearance earlier that year, but after Keisha's departure, the Sugababes management quickly recruited her to join Amel and Heidi. Jade had little time to adjust, as she had to step into her new role and begin promoting the group's upcoming Sweet 7 album almost immediately. Jade joined the group just months before the scheduled release of Sweet 7, meaning there was limited time to re-record all of Keisha's parts. This required Jade to learn the songs, record her vocals, and perform in a very short span, adding significant pressure. Although Jade brought her own vocal style and identity, she had to ensure that her voice fit seamlessly with Amel and Heidi's established harmonies and the overall sound of the group.
But the label sent you the wrong album.
Yeah, they sent me the songs that didn't make the album.
Okay.
So I had to learn 2 versions of Sweet 7. And I was really proud of myself. I was like, oh yeah, I've learned it. I went into the studio to start recording and they were like, okay, we're going to start with this. I was like, I don't know that one. And they're like, what about this song? No. This one? I don't know any of these. And then they were like, I think you've learnt the wrong album.
Oh, no.
In November that year, the group released the song About a Girl. According to the group, the video was shot just 2 days after Amel and Heidi met Jade. The song was produced by Red One, a prominent producer known for his work with artists like Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez. Red One's signature sound is present in the song with a strong focus on dance pop and electropop elements. Sonically, the song contains a heavy use of synthesizers throughout and a strong driving beat, it features an infectious chorus and is crafted as a club-ready anthem. The song also incorporates elements of Europop, which was a major influence in the pop music landscape during that period. Although the track was originally recorded with Keisha's vocals, Jade's version of the song replaced Keisha's after her departure. Jade's vocals were re-recorded, marking her first major contribution to the Sugababes sound. About a Girl was one of the first tracks Jade had to quickly learn and perform live, adding to the pressure of her debut with the group. While the group had always evolved their sound, blending pop, R&B, and electronic elements throughout their career, About a Girl leaned heavily into dance pop trends of the late 2000s. The production had a glossy, high-energy feel that was more synthetic and electronic than their earlier music, which often incorporated more organic instrumentation and R&B-inflected beats. Many critics applauded Red One's involvement, noting that his production elevated the song's commercial appeal. The song's catchy, up-tempo beat was highlighted as a standout feature, positioning the Sugababes alongside other major pop acts of the time who were working with Red One. Reviewers frequently noted it was a strong, club-ready anthem that was tailored for the dance floor. The song's driving energy and punchy chorus were praised for giving Sugababes a modern, fresh sound. Some critics acknowledged the awkwardness surrounding the lineup change. While Jade's vocals were praised, some felt that the group's chemistry and identity had shifted, and this change affected how fans and critics perceived the song. Despite this, most agreed that the song itself was a solid pop track. The music video directed by Martin Weiss and took inspiration from a Kill Bill theme. Stunt doubles were used for certain scenes, as there was uncertainty about whether the group would still be together by the time the song was released. The video was shot at the iconic Vasquez Rocks in California, known for its dramatic, desert-like landscape, which added to the bold, high-energy feel of the visual. Despite the quick turnaround, the video successfully introduced Jade as part of the group, with her scenes blending seamlessly with those of her bandmates. The video's intense, action-driven narrative can be interpreted as a metaphor for the group's resilience and determination to push forward, despite the internal shake-up caused by Keisha's departure. The video's bold tone attempted to reinforce the message that Sugababes was still a force to be reckoned with, even in the midst of lineup changes. About a Girl performed well commercially, becoming another top 10 hit. It peaked at number 8 in the UK, demonstrating that despite the internal changes within the group, they could still achieve strong chart placements. The song also charted in several other countries, including Ireland, where it reached number 14, and in parts of Europe, though its international impact was somewhat limited compared to their earlier hits. In February 2010, Where My Kiss was released as the third and final single from the album. It was one of the last tracks to be recorded for the project and became another notable moment for the group as it continued their foray into a more commercial, dance-pop sound. The track was written by Fernando Garibay, Bruno Mars, and American duo the Jackie Boys. The song continues the sound from the previous two singles, being an up-tempo electropop song with influences of synth-pop and dance-pop. It features a catchy chorus and playful lyrics about a confident romantic connection, with the metaphor of wearing a kiss as a mark of ownership or devotion. With its pulsating beats and polished production, Where My Kiss fits into the high-energy, danceable style that was prominent on Sweet 7 and in pop music at the time. The music video, again directed by Martin Weiss, features a futuristic and sleek aesthetic. The video is set against a sleek, minimalistic backdrop, with reflective surfaces and geometric designs, creating a modern, almost sci-fi inspired vibe. The clean, sharp lines of the set give it a futuristic feel, aligning with the group's polished sound. The group are dressed in bold, fashion-forward outfits, featuring geometric patterns and bright colours. Each member wears different eye-catching costumes, designed to accentuate their personalities while still uniting them as a cohesive group. Throughout the video, there are visual effects that enhance the futuristic tone. These include mirror and duplication effects that show multiple versions of the Sugababes members at once, as well as sequences where the camera angles and lighting make the members appear larger than life. The use of these effects adds a dynamic element to the video, keeping it visually engaging and reflecting the larger-than-life pop production of the track. The video was generally well received by fans for its glamorous visuals and fun, energetic vibe. It helped showcase Jade as a confident new addition to the lineup. The bold, futuristic styling and the high-energy choreography reflected the new direction of the group's sound and image. Critics highlighted the song's infectious energy and catchy chorus, often describing it as a feel-good pop anthem. The upbeat production and dance pop sound were praised for their ability to get listeners on their feet. The song was noted for its radio-friendly appeal, making it suitable for both clubs and pop radio playlists. Some critics expressed that while Where My Kiss was enjoyable, it didn't quite capture the same distinctiveness that had characterized the group's earlier hits. They noted a sense of mainstream gloss that felt less innovative compared to earlier tracks like Overload or Push the Button. This sentiment was echoed by some fans who felt that the group was moving towards a more generic pop sound, which could be seen as a departure from their roots. The song received strong radio airplay, particularly in the UK, where its catchy, upbeat sound fit well with pop and top 40 stations. When released, the track debuted and peaked at number 7 in the UK. This continued their strong chart presence, even amid the changes in their lineup. The album Sweet 7, released in March, marked a significant sonic shift for the Sugababes, continuing with a more mainstream, polished pop sound, as demonstrated by the 3 singles released. The overall sound was much more high-energy and club-oriented than some of the group's previous, more eclectic albums. Despite the album having producers such as Red One, Ryan Tedder, and the Smeezingtons, which gave the album a distinctly polished and international feel compared to the more UK-focused, genre-blending sound of their earlier works. Sweet 7 received mixed to negative reviews from critics, many of whom highlighted the departure from the group's earlier, more distinctive sound. Many critics noted the album's generic sound and lack of the unique edge that had once set Sugababes apart. Longtime fans of the group's earlier work, which had fused pop with UK garage, R&B, and more experimental elements, felt Sweet 7 lacked personality and originality, essentially stating that any girl band such as Girls Aloud, The Saturdays, or even Danity Kane could have released this album. There was nothing distinctive that set Sugababes apart from other pop bands at that time. The album's reliance on American producers and the shift towards a more commercial, formulaic sound was seen as a loss of the group's distinctiveness. Critics argued that the group had sacrificed their identity in favour of chart success. The lineup change, with Jade replacing Keisha during production, was also a major talking point. Some critics and fans felt that the group no longer felt like the Sugababes, as none of the original members remained. This cast a shadow over the album, as it was perceived as less authentic and more manufactured. In hindsight, had the remaining members, Heidi, Amel and Jade, formed a new group under a different name, it might have benefited their public image and offered a fresh start. By rebranding and creating a new band, it could have avoided the criticism that the Sugababes no longer felt like the same group. A rebranding could have also been a positive promotional tool, allowing the group to differentiate their new sound and creative vision from that of the Sugababes. This could have opened up more opportunities for reintroducing themselves to the market with a fresh approach and unique selling points. A new band name could have helped attract fans who weren't as invested in the history of the Sugababes. By starting fresh, the group might have been able to connect with a broader, younger audience who could appreciate their music without feeling like they were stepping into a legacy act. Simultaneously, longtime fans who felt alienated by the constant lineup changes might have been more receptive to a new band, as it wouldn't feel like the original group's legacy was being tampered with. This could have softened the blow for fans who were unhappy with the direction of the Sugababes at the time. It's also interesting to consider that both Sweet 7 and the Spice Girls' Forever era share striking similarities, particularly in the circumstances leading up to their releases, which were marked by lineup changes and both groups' decisions to work with American producers. These decisions shaped the sound of both albums and had significant impacts on the public's reception of the music. The groups moved away from their original sound and identity in an attempt to modernize and remain relevant, but this shift ultimately alienated core fans and led to a decline in their commercial success. The lineup changes also played a major role in altering the public's perception of both groups, contributing to the sense that neither was the same band that had initially captivated their audience. In the UK, the media plays a significant role in shaping public perception of artists and groups. Both the Sugababes and Spice Girls had highly publicised lineup changes that were often portrayed as dramatic or negative in the press. Keisha's departure, for example, was surrounded by rumours of tension and her being forced out, which damaged the group's reputation. Similarly, Jerry's departure from the Spice Girls was seen as a betrayal, and the media emphasised the internal struggles of the group. This kind of narrative often leads to a loss of goodwill among fans. The resistance to change seen particularly among UK fans reflects a deep connection to authenticity, consistency, and cultural identity in British pop music. Line-up changes, especially when paired with shifts in sound and image, often lead to feelings of disconnection for fans who have grown attached to the original members and their music. Sweet 7 debuted at number 14 on the UK albums chart, a lower position than expected given the group's previous success. This was a significant drop compared to their earlier albums, which had debuted within the top 10. The album marked the end of Sugababes' commercial peak. Following the release of Sweet 7, the group went on an extended hiatus, and although they attempted to regroup with new material later on, they never regained the momentum or success they had earlier in their career. Fortunately, in 2012, the original members were able to reform. This was an exciting moment for fans of the group. After years of performing and recording as MKS, the trio rightfully regained the legal rights to the Sugababes name in 2019. This marked a significant moment for the group, as they could now officially reclaim their legacy. Since reforming, the original Sugababes have cemented their legacy as a defining force in UK pop music. They have gone on to release a 20th anniversary edition of their debut album, One Touch, reminding fans of their vocal chemistry and impact on pop culture. Their legacy is now tied to being pioneers of British girl group evolution, known for genre blending and experimenting with pop music. The trio's live performances at festivals and special events have been well received and reigniting nostalgia as they continue to be celebrated as icons of authenticity and vocal prowess in UK music.